Hey there everybody, it's Troy again, Flying Squirrel Wilderness Chef. I'm out in the woods this time. I'm not sitting on my back porch. And I'm gonna whip up a little backpacker treat. It's a little heavy for hardcore backpackers, but you know, again, I find adding a little bit of fresh ingredient every once in a while and mixing some things on your own just turn out for a better product. And I enjoy cooking, I enjoy eating. When I'm out in the woods, I want good stuff. So again, it's cold, it's maybe 34 degrees, just a couple of degrees above freezing, and sun's going down, so I'm gonna use the light I've got left and make a nice calorie rich, sweet backpacker's berry cobbler. Alright, so first things first, I got to get this stove lit, and I like to use liquid fuel. I know it's not the lightest. Again, I'm willing to sacrifice a little weight for being able to do this right. So there's a couple of reasons I use liquid fuel. 3 reasons really. One, it's kind of what I grew up with. It's what I'm used to. It's what I'm comfortable with. Second, when it gets cold, this works better. And it is winter. No, it's not like below 0 degrees Fahrenheit or anything like that, but still. Third thing is, I can control this really well. This is an MSR Whisperlite, and I can throttle the heat on this really nicely, get it down to a slow simmer, or just really fire it up. And you really need that kind of control if you want to do any kind of cooking. And you'll see what I mean here when we do this thing. So let's get this lit. It is one of these that you've got to prime and basically set the stove on fire to get it to work. Fill up the primer cup here. There we go. Alright. So this is how I do all my backpacking meals. 1 big gallon Ziplock, all the individual ingredients wrapped up in here, and I have the recipe in here too, so I know what to do. This becomes compact. It's a single meal, in this case a single dessert, and the big bag becomes a garbage bag when I'm done. So really nice way to do this. So first thing I'm going to do, I need to get a cup of water on here and boiling with some sugar in it. Alright, so I've emptied my first bag into this. It's 1 cup of water and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And we're going to keep stirring to melt that up and get it nice and smooth, and see if we can't dissolve the sugar as much as we can. While that's getting going, what we're going to put in it is this. It's a 12-ounce bag, about 2 cups of mixed frozen berries. You can do it with cranberry, you can do it with blueberry. This here is a strawberry, blackberry, raspberry, blueberry mix, which should be fine. What I'm making here should be good for 4 people. You can cut that in half if you want, but again, it's sort of sized around the availability of these bags. And you know, a whole bag is what I'm going to make here, so it'll be a little much, but that's okay. I'll share it with the family later. Alright, so while this boils, I'm going to let it boil for about 3 minutes to thicken it up. Berries aren't in yet, it's just the water and sugar. I'm going to pull out the second step, which is, this is a block of Crisco. It's 1/3 of a cup, and you can get it in shelf-stable packs, kind of like butter. And before I mix it into the dough that I'm going to make, I'm basically going to use this on my second pan and just grease up the bottom a little bit. So I'm just going to rub it in here and get it all nice and slick. There you go. We'll see what happens here, right? All right, here come the berries. We're going to put these in here. Basically cook them until the smaller berries, the blueberries, the raspberries, cranberries if you got them, we're going to let those cook until they burst open. We're still on a fairly high temperature here. All right, so while that's going, we're going to pull out our second bag. This is pre-mixed, and what's in here is, let's see, 1 cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of powdered milk, let's see, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, but baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. What we're going to do is take the rest of the shortening, cut it into this, and then we're going to add 1/3 cup of water, and we're going to mix it up right here in the bag to just make a dough right here, okay? And again, this is 1/3 cup of the Crisco. Put everything in the bag. It saves you from having to clean another pot. Feel all the lumps in here and squishing them up. And that Crisco isn't a lot, but it's enough to help this flow smoother when we do cook it. Okay. That feels pretty good, so I'm going to add a little bit of the water. Want to make sure this is sealed well. Okay, I know this is hard to see because the dough has coated the bag, but you can really feel with your hands whether or not you've got any lumps in it, and you get it nice and smooth and mixed. This is going to be a good dough. The lumps tend to collect here in the corners, and you can feel them and just squeeze them out, mix it up. All right, our berries are almost done, so I'm going to go ahead and pour this into the second pot and use my spoon to sort of smooth it out and get it even like a pie crust. Oh yeah, that looks good. Look at that. That's about the right consistency. And it's just like milking a cow here. I've honestly never milked a cow. So it's probably nothing like milking a cow. There we go. That's good even without cooking it. Nice and sweet. Try to get this level. Alright, you can see the berries have burst, and I just added a teaspoon of cornstarch to help thicken it up. The natural pectins in the berries and the cornstarch will help turn it into a, you know, kind of a pie filling kind of consistency. So I'm going to just let this cook for a while and thicken, because what I really want is less liquid and more berry goodness. Here's how the batter's looking, though. I mean, that's like cake. You picture that, and hopefully this will work out. It'll be tasty. Man, that's good. cold winter's night. That's a lot of sugar. This is going to be nice. The trick is going to be if I can do this without burning the crust. All right, it's secret ingredient time. I like carrying these little bottles around. This one's great. You can turn it inside out. It's a silicone. You can clean it really easy. But I normally have like a little bottle of cooking oil, olive oil, vinegar sometimes, just depending on what I'm making. And it's just great to have liquids in small quantities to cook with. Again, that's what I like to do. I'm not that concerned about weight. So for this secret ingredient is actually a tablespoon of lemon juice and a tablespoon of whiskey, in this case Jack Daniels. So if it wasn't good before, that's really gonna liven it up. Aside from the flavors, you also get the lemon juice adding some tart to the sugar of the fruit and helps bind everything together. All right, I think this is getting thick enough. What I'm going to do now, move this off to the side and not spill it. I'm going to turn this way down. And if I do this right, as this cooks, the dough on the bottom will actually invert. It'll start to float up in chunks and mix with the berries, kind of, you know, cobbler style, and become a more like a cobbler. So we'll have chunks of cake mixed in with all of the berries. Here's how it looks just after pouring the fruit in on top of the cake. It's almost like a like peppermint. It almost looks like. So we're just going to cook that on low here for a while, and this ought to give you an idea. It's already started to thicken up and bubble, and the cake is inverting, and you can hear the stove just barely sputtering. It's just on the lowest heat I can possibly get it. So I'm going to seal this heat in, put a lid back on it, and let it solidify. We ought to see that dough start to get cake-like. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes. We're going to test here and see the consistency. If this tears rather than flows, we're probably in good shape. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's cake. Okay, so we're going to take that off. And I'm just going to set it right here. Let's see how this is. Yeah. Man. You really can make a cobbler if you're backpacking. If you can pull this off, you'll be a hero. This is awesome. Like I say, a little heavy, but worth it. All right. That is an unqualified success. Hope you can give this a try. It's a little hot right now, but it's still very, very tasty. Give this a try. You'll really enjoy it. This is Troy for Flying Squirrel. Get out there. See ya.